Yeah, I'm happy to be here, and I want to present my talk, microjanga. And before I start, I want to say a special thing for my family, for support. Thanks to my wife Elena, thanks to my children, Mark and Maya, thanks to my animals, Marcel and Kisa. And special thanks for my children, Mark and Maya, because they create full illustration for whole my presentation in last 2 years. Okay, thank you, Mark and Maya. And short information about me. Who I am, my name is Maxim Danilov, and I am Python and Django developer many years, and I love reactive front-end frameworks. And also, only in last year, I provide around 6,500 minutes like a mentor for newbie developers, Python developers, for free. It's around 25 minutes in a day without a break. Don't forget, empty slots are available. You can ask mentoring. Okay. But what is microjanga? The important idea. Important idea about microjanga is we have project with single PI file. And we have full Django functionality. And it's runnable standalone. It's runnable in monolith. And it's testable. How it possible? This is example from MindPI. You can see there is we have import, we have declared view, and we have declared URL dispatcher. That's all. How to run it? We can use µDjango. We need to set up properly the environment settings, and at first, don't forget to have settings. The Django settings module should be found, and this Django settings module is the same file, MindPI. It means I don't have any settings PI. And after that, you can run it with µDjango. With special flags, and of course you can run it if it async with multiple workers, and you get the async single file Django endpoint. That's all. You can see how it works, and it works normally. And this is already normal style or normal standard to write teeny small entry points which build it on Django. And if I start to compare, there is with famous different other Python web frameworks, of course we can compare it. For example, microjanga, put it in container, in Docker. The image of Docker takes around 50 megabytes, and in code it's written 5 lines of code. For example, for fast API, example hello world, it takes 75 megabytes in Docker container, and it takes also 5 lines of code. This is about repository or storage, and this is about the code lines, quantity of code lines. But what about performance? In this case, about code lines, we have imports, we have also the view declaration, and we have also the URL dispatcher declaration. And what is about performance? I compare Django and different other frameworks like LightStar or Robin Python frameworks which written on Rust. And on the other live session, I compare µDjango paradigm with FastAPI. You can find it in internet, and I can say it's comparable. But don't believe me, check yourself. And history about µDjango. This is important. The birth of this technology happens in 2014. And important is, this technology was completely clear described in 2014 with in book Lightweight Django. And this style, coding style with Django framework takes a name Lightweight Django. After I met this technology in 2015, because I came to a project which built on this technology. Authors of this project was Armin Wolf and Florian Ehrenmoser, and they start to work with standard Django project, and after that they have simplified the structure of this project. A little bit later, I met this technology in different benchmarks. For example, in benchmark from Kirill Klonov. There it was the idea Lightweight Django plus SetAPI. And of course, a little bit later, this idea take the second birth. Will Vincent presented it in 2019 after it was created the repository and name transformed in Django micro framework. But idea was the same, refreshing of lightweight Django ideas. And the last important step which happens with this technology, in 2023, Paulo Melchiorre presented Async form of lightweight Django, and Paulo also offer the new name for this technology, microjanga. I like this name, and that's why I use this name. Altruth, the normal is lightweight Django, already 11 years. You can meet also other names in internet. It can be Teeny Django and a lightweight Django project, or you can see the Nano Django, probably you have hear it. It's all about the same. Okay. MicroJanga in real life. I use MicroJanga already 2.5 years, also in big project. Sorry, I live in Austria and I use sometimes German words. I hope you understand me. And where we can use this technology. This example on the right side, you can imagine this is one huge messy monolith from Django. This contains around 340,000 lines of code, and it's really heavy to start to test. And it was a problem. This is example. This is example from medical observation data lake, and it was a problem. We should make these projects more stable. And with lightweight Django, sorry, with MicroDjango, we start to extract some small entry points in separate containers and run it to achieve stability exactly for these entry points. This is medical observation. We should, for example, store information from heart frequency. It should be stable. It should be achievable, and that's why we want somehow to extract entry points and made a guarantee this entry point works every time. And this is segregated entry points SQRS-based project. Also in modular monolith, you can use MicroDjango technology. Please refer in internet the architecture pattern project modular monolith. I like this idea. It was a bunch of articles in 2019 probably. And also you can use it in async-oriented Django projects. But you can remember, I say we have full Django functionality. How it works? It's really easy, pretty easy. This is simple one PI file to run admin site from project. And you can see I declare this guy handler, but it's wrapped in Lambda because I want to make it lazy. And at second, I define URL patterns. And again, I made it lazy. Simple lazy object. This is the helper which created in Django and help us to work with objects which will be initiated later, not on start of project. And execute from command line as standard command. It means you can simply run as usual Python min.py run server. It works. Try it yourself. All example you can find on the end of my talk. And the next example, standard model data serialization sync. You can see I like to work with generic class-based views. I define the view based on the detail view. Model again wrapped in lazy object because we don't have models on start of server. They are registered later. And in response, simply I use to render in response, I use standard Django serializer, Django serializer framework. It's amazing, powerful library which nobody uses, especially in projects which I have seen. And I declare URL patterns, and it works somehow. You can see the Django serializer framework placed in Django core serializers. Okay, and how it works? If we run it on server, I can rollback. I run it on server, and we get the serialized object from model users. Only one file, not more. Also, I can offer you async example. The async example, it works, and we have problem. Django 5.2, it's still not ready to be async. Because, I mean, not Django, but class-based views not ready to be async. For every async operation, I should override any function in class-based view. For example, standard detail view calls getObject, but getObject call made hit in database sync hit. In this case, I should instead getObject create the new function aGetObject, and after that I should await the result from aGetObject. And if we check our results, we can see it also works. I run it with with uvicorn, and if we see, we have also obstacles in Django. If you use related fields, if you want to serialize related fields, it's not possible, still possible with async. It's this is not a problem. You can simply serialize plain objects, and usually this is a normal solution if you work with reactive frameworks. But if you try to work right now to solve right now some solution on in async mode, probably right now in Django 5.2, it's not all possible, but possible. Okay, testing. With testing, it works completely normally. For example, right now I provide the async test for a view which I presented on slides before. And important is for async testing, don't forget always you meet somewhere this transformer from sync to async or something back. And this is our legacy. We cannot, till now, we cannot avoid it to transform from sync to async easily or seamless. But it works. And right now, some words about settings, because settings PI probably it's a file which you meet in every project. Who has project without any settings PI? I have. But in reality, settings PI is our core file. It's much more important than any other. And if we speak about settings, we have in reality 50 shadows of settings. Because on debug, in debug, we work with like a debug settings. Probably you have somehow local settings there, you have construction. If debug, blah, 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 came some settings. Who has this construction? Yeah, everybody. And after that, probably we can have the test stage. And for test stage, probably we have special test settings. And also, if we start to run in production, probably there we have production settings. Who has this difference in settings? Of course. And probably you have also the different test settings. Test settings to work with Amazon, AWS, test settings to work with clouds in the same way, and so on, or with different databases. And don't forget, Django offers us to have settings in completely other place of file system. It's not important to have settings in the same folder or in folder settings or project name settings, whatever. How it works? At first, we should. At first, Django offers us to work with different arts. How settings can be declared? We can use Django settings model like like a variable in environment. Also, we can by run server we can provide a settings flag. There, run server should find the settings and so on. And external settings for single service, for example, how it works. At first, you should check properly base dir in settings PI. After that, you should set up in environment Django settings module path to settings. And the final step, you should set the new environment variable or new redefine environment variable Python path. And you can add path to settings on your system. After that, you can run standard your developer web server. It works. But settings placed somewhere, probably it's also placed somewhere in internet on the other machine. It works. It means settings PI you don't have, you can don't have not in a project folder. And in this case, project folder with microjanga paradigm contains only one PI file. Okay. Microjanga, it's amazing because it can work as modular monolith. If you work with microjanga paradigm, you can create the folder. There you place the first service project, which can be run at standalone. After that, you placed the second service folder, which you can run standalone. And after that, you have once more microjanga file, which simply goes through whole folder automatically, or right now it's written strict, but you can find in repository. I created the auto discovery for every mine PI, and in this case, the general mine PI microservice file simply run any other service in one bunch like a monolith. but this is modular monolith. It's easy, it's funny, and don't forget to make your functions or attributes lazy. It should be calculated later, not on the import of the file. Okay, how it works with Docker. In Docker, it's all fun and easy. You can see also in my project, I don't have any requirements, txt or settings PI, because all requirements or settings I have in Docker file. Docker file install for me all requirements. And it's also one possibility to reduce loading for developer who works in team, and we remove possibility to use different libraries, because Docker file usually is provided from central repository, for example. Also, this command, it works. Every example which I provide in my talk is works and placed in repository. Link I gave on the last slide. You can check it all and check Max, you say true, or Max, you a liar. And also, what happens with microjanga in 2025? Because Paolo presented microjanga in 2023, and what happens in these 2 years? In this case, I'm really happy to have in Django 5.2 a method decorator right now support me to decorate methods in class-based views, and these methods can be async. Why it's important? Because I don't use middleware settings in settings. I wrap my small teeny services in, I decorate my small teeny services which based on class with method decorator, but Django also provide us a second decorator which calls middleware to decorator. It means I transform any middleware, for example, out of middleware in from middleware I transform decorator, and after that with this new function in Django I can decorate only my single view with this middleware. This is important. We can discuss it later. It's really game changer for async programming with Django. I like it. Thank you. And also, only in previous version of Django, it was not possible. But we have also cache decorator, which works with async views or with async entry points. It's also appears only last year, probably it's around. And we have also many different async possibility. It means I can solve more tasks or business goals with async paradigm and improve quantity requests per second. Okay, and if we speak, if we summarize this all, what I want to say, important is microjanga is only technology to work with Django. It means till now I don't install any other additional library. Also, to get Swagger user interface, I don't install any additional library because I know how it can be solved in a microjanga paradigm. And okay, Uvicorn, like external web server, will be installed. Okay, and yeah, summary, key takeaways about microjanga technology. This pattern is already ready to work. Simply take it and use it. And you cannot forget it if you start to use it. This is a problem. And it's comparable with other technologies. In my previous talk, I already show how Django forms can validate the incoming data in the same speed like works Pydantic, which written on Rust. I speak about Pydantic version 2. And also microjanga, for example, in my personal situation, microjanga help us to extract Django endpoints from messy monolith and run it standalone. without any refactoring, without technology switching. This is important for team who support this code base. And please don't forget, right now in 2025, we are not still possible to solve all tasks with async programming in Django. But right now, with last version of Django, it's really a huge part of tasks can be solved in async paradigm. And you can try it yourself at home. Simply, open your famous projects which written on Django, find only one small entry point in your project, extract it in single file, write it in microjanga style, check imports, don't forget to check imports, run and enjoy. It's easy. Thank you.
So one question from the remote audience. What are the ideal use cases for microDjango and why would you take it instead of Flask, for example? Ideal use cases for microDjango and why would you take it instead of Flask?
In this case, important idea is if I work with 5 teams and I have around 4 members in every team, and they all works in one paradigm, Django. In this case, to switch for one separate entry point to use Flask there, or FastAPI, or Django Ninja, or I don't know, Lightstar. In this case, we increase complexity of project, and the problem for newbie developers who came in team, it grows because not everybody knows whole bunch of technology. In this case, unification of code base, it's made this code base easy. That's why we use this technology instead of probably any other framework. I hope I answer. But we can discuss it.
How was your experience extracting endpoints in relation to database migrations?
In this case, you can see I always use already existed and imported models. In this case, my microjanga entry point don't have any responsibility to work with migrations. Responsibility is only to perform one small computation without relations to changing the models or database schema. Altruth, you can find the articles how your answer exactly researched, not from me, from other developer.
How do you feel about the idea mentioned by Mr. Gibson in his talk about modularizing Django itself? How would that affect microDjango as a project? Do you think that then Docker image can be even more smaller and maybe lessons learned from microDjango can be used as a reference for Django core if we go that road?
I already think about separating Django project on different modules. I also created the additional library, which means dependency extractor. It means if my entry point uses some dependencies from Django, I can use this library to extract only single files from Django and run it in Docker container, and it works without install Django. It's interesting, but the problem from Django itself, they use really often import module. And in this case, your dependency not write it declarative. Import module imports something from string. And sometimes you cannot imagine what should be imported. You should debug place, you should be on this line, and in this moment you can see which library will be imported right now. And sometimes it's completely not obvious. For example, this problem, it's famous. You can see Django contrib admin sites import lazy the default site, but this is a problem because it's imported from import string. It's not imported normally. I don't know why. I know why, but I'm not agree with this idea in codebase. And Django itself try to be written modular, but these imports, string imports or lazy imports, can break full work. That's all. But the idea is cool. Thank you.